lecture, we would discuss the Yojana January 2022 edition, which talks about Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. So we begin with India as a space power. So in 1962, Indian National Committee for Space Research was established, and there was a launch from Thumba Equatorial Launching Station in 1963, which was the first sounding rocket from India. Then Trivandrum became the hub for space science and space technology. Present day Vikram Sarabhai Space Center, as it is named as Ahmedabad, is where payload development and electronics have been developed. ISRO was formed in 69, superseding the INCOSPAR, and ISRO was under the Department of Space in 1962. In 1972, in 75, we had Aryabhat, which was the first satellite which was launched in the former from the United States, and during 70s, Bhaskar 1, Bhaskar 2 were the Earth observation satellites which were launched. Apple was launched as a passenger payload experiment and the first experimental communication satellite by European rocket. SITE, which is the satellite instructional television experiment, or STEP, which is the telecommunications experiment project, was establishing the usage of satellites for communication and broadcasting. We had SLV design, which carried nearly 40 kgs of payload in the low Earth orbit. In 1980, we had SLV-3, where India was among the 5 countries which had launched it. PSLV, ASLV was launched. INSET was launched as the first operational satellite in India. Then we had the first remote sensing satellite, which is IRS-1A. We also had the various operating systems under INSET, which were the C-band, extended C-band, Q-band, S-band. GSET and the series of GSET were launched. Then we had the PSLV and the GSLVs, which were launched with cryogenic technology, which involved liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen at low temperatures. We had the CARE mission, which was the first experimental suborbital flight of GSLV Mark III. Similarly, Chandrayaan-1 was the mission to Moon. We had Mangalyaan, the mission to Mars, and then Gaganyaan, the space mission in 2018, which is started, and which aims to take the human space flight. Then we have the armed forces in India. The first phase was the commencement with the War of Kashmir and termination with the Indochina War. This period was where the officers were relatively young. The training during the World War II was not suited for the People's War locally. Participation in the Korean War was seen for medical assistance, and there were lots of budgetary cuts. The lessons were that precise borders have to be demarcated rather than frontiers, and this was one of the very important landmarks between the treaty between India and China at the Tibet area. Latest weaponry, summer uniforms, canvas and shoes needs to be ordered. Order of battle and chain of command are very important, and that was identified during phase 1. During phase 2, our army size increased from nearly 5 lakh to 8 lakhs, and after the death of Pandit Nehru, the prevailing conditions in Jammu Kashmir were highly disrupted. There were structural issues and problems with equipments. Then there were refugees entering from East Pakistan, and there were scenes of worse genocide which were affected. East Pakistan population was had to be controlled, and there were issue of Mukti Bahini. Similarly, we had the failed Chinese invasions of Vietnam, Soviet invasions of Afghanistan, which were witnessed. India sent peacekeeping missions in Sri Lanka and Operation Cactus in Maldives. Under phase 3, there was a new phase in the armed forces, where we were focusing on new weapon systems, new operation systems, for example Operation Pavan in Sri Lanka, and to check the Pak-sponsored cross-border terrorism. We had Kargil Wall, which had talked about more on the institutions and the structural and the future challenges. The fourth phase talks about the policy of zero tolerance, and this is mainly in the terrorism attacks in the border areas and China's attempt to alter the status quo of the region. Gender equality in armed forces has been brought again in important, and there was a new post of Chief of Defence Staff which was created, superseding all the 3 positions. In terms of agriculture, India has only 2.4% of land, 4% of water, but 18% of population. India is leading in pulses, jute and milk, second largest in rice, wheat, sugarcane, cotton and groundnut, second largest in fruits and vegetables, and the situation has been evolving. The imports of grain has been increasing during the time of independence, but later on we witnessed self-sufficiency. In 1871, Department of Revenue and Agriculture was established. Imperial Bacteriology Lab was established at Izzatnagar, UP. Agricultural Institute was established, later known as Indian Agricultural Research Institute. A Royal Commission on Agriculture was appointed, which was recommended by the Imperial Council for Agricultural Research. Sugarcane breeding station was established in Coimbatore. Rice research station, cotton research stations were established. Agriculture schools were opened at Sadyapet in Chennai, and Department for Agricultural Teaching were separately developed. We also focus towards self-reliance, where we talk about irrigation projects, land titles given to the actual cultivators, cooperative credit institutes in the first 5-year plan, and those were the top developments. Then under the second 5-year plan, we talked about reducing the imports which were made under this scheme, and the major crisis that India had faced because of the war with Pakistan and the drought. Under the third 5-year plan, we talked about the new varieties and self-reliant food grains. Under Norman Borlaug, we had the Green Revolution which took place, and draft and high yielding varieties of rice were brought. India's production for food grain, horticulture and milk increased significantly during this time. We are also focusing on building networks. So ICAR managed various research and development institutions across India with various research institutes, national research centers, national bodies and project directories. India in 1948 had only 17 agricultural colleges, which increased significantly. Recently, we have very many agricultural institutions which have been established. Also, we have breakthrough development and new developments. For example, Basmati rice variety was discovered. Operation Flood was launched. Blue Revolution was made possible. There has been series of economic transformations which have been witnessed, and this have led to the Feldman model which was created. So Feldman model says that India had close relations with the USSR, and a similar model strategy was adopted which focused on state-based heavy industries. However, capital good concentration of the consumer good capital good concentration of the industries took place rather than the consumer goods, which was not suitable for a country like India. And in 70s we saw two major initiatives. One was the complete takeover of the wholesale trade in food grains and the nationalization of major banks. Similarly, there was shortage of food grain because of inflation, war of Bangladesh independence which led to shortage, global oil crisis. We had domestic and international economic liberalization which was witnessed, a series of communication which had to be checked. Now the infrastructural development model was important. The Bombay Plan was established, and that focused on a public sector, the development of the public sector based on Herod-Dahmer model. The first 5-year plan was launched which focused on agriculture and irrigation. By the end of the by the end of this plan, 5 IITs were established, and then under the second plan we had basic focus on substitution of basic and capital goods industry. Hydroelectric power projects, steel plants were established at Bhilai, Durgapur, Raulkela with foreign assistance. We had huge production in steel. Bhakra Nagal was established. Nationalization of banks took place. National highway system was established. Recently, we aim to be a 5 trillion economy by 2024 and a 10 trillion economy by 2030. We are already focusing towards a huge development for this. We have a huge urban space that has been built. Urban population is yet to grow to 60 crores by 2030. We are focusing on tax concessions, increasing the flow of foreign and private capital. Real Estate Development Act RERA was launched to regulate the real estate sector. Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana to provide urban and rural housing to all. Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs has taken affordable steps for affordable housing for the same. Similarly, we are talking about ways forward which talk about resilient infrastructure. good cooperation, land acquisition, and proper distribution. The role of media as the fourth pillar in the democracy has been witnessed. We have been seen as media has been seen as a vehicle of change and consciousness. Bengal Gazette was the first newspaper by James Hickory, and then we have the motto was open to all yet not influenced by anyone. Similarly, in the 21st century, it's a media of internet. It is a time of social media and internet. The number of social media users have increased by 51%, increased to 51%. Data reporter says that nearly person spends 2 hours and 22 minutes a day on social media, which is significantly high. Facebook, WhatsApp have significant users in India, but it does has its own challenges, like there can be spread of fake news, there can be misinformation which can be actually circulated. So responsibility from the side of parents, public awareness, news to be regulated, responsibility of journalism should be taken into account. Reforming the caste in India is again important, specifically the scheduled caste and the respective laws. So Dr. Ambedkar had a lot of developments for uplifting the Dalits, and similarly we have Swadeshi entrepreneurs. Dadabhai Naroji, R.C. Dutt, M.G. Ranade were some of the people who knew about the concepts of colonial exploitation and wanted Swadeshi to emerge. So Lala Lajpat Rai, Lala Harkrishan Lal, and Sir Dayal Singh founded the Punjab National Bank. Then similarly we had in Bombay a Parsi lawyer, Saurabhji Godrej, who founded Godrej and Boyles. Acharya Prafulla Chandra Ray, P.C. Ray, who founded the Bengal Chemicals. We had people from Tagore family who helped Nab Gopal Mitra to promote Swadeshi enterprise. We had the Swadeshi movement in 1905. Similarly, we had Rabindranath Swadeshi Bhandar, Sarla Devi's Lakshmir Bhandar. Similarly, landlords and professionals came together to found the Bengal National Bank. Bangla Chemical Lakshmi Cloth Mills was established. Later on, Mohini Mohan Chakrabarti founded the Mohini Mills. Anand Bazar and Jugantar were two important media companies which were established. Chidambaram Pillai started the Swadeshi Steam Navigation Company. Chrome tanning companies, Bande Mataram match factories were established. These were some other examples of small companies that were established. Godrej launched its first vegetable soap. There was Subhash Chandra Bose, who was setting up the planning commission under the chairmanship of Nehru, and 8 industrialists proposed the then Bombay plan in 1944-45. So if we talk about preparing the future leaders, the skills which are transference, attitude and knowledge based skills have to be important. Sankalp is the short term training program which focuses on institutional strength, quality and marginalized population. Skill development, which talks about the national skill development mission, transferring and training 40 crore people, and then taking the responsibility for skill development for the same. Also we talk about Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana, which encourages skill development, and the 2.0 version has been launched. The sector skill councils have been established which aim at capacity building and skill building with skill development needs and identifying the right needs. So those are some of the key developments that we have taken in this Yojana January edition. Very important developments which can be part of your prelims examination. We cover Yojana Kurukshetra every month and Down to Earth every fortnightly. So stay subscribed for further updates. Wish you very good luck for your exams.